Matt Rule just does not have a clue on how to run an offense.
Luke Getsky should be fired. He should be fired today.
I'll stand by you. Micah, bro, you got smoke.
Welcome to FaZe Fantasy Live with your host, Lonnie Z.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. This is FaZe Fantasy Live, and I am your host, Lonnie Z. Along with me today is my partner in crime, Jake Hansen. Hey, Jake, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
I'm going good. I'm doing good. Getting back to it.
Right, exactly. We're finally back. Football season, man. When you think about it, it came pretty quick, huh?
Yes, sir.
You know, it's especially since my Boston Celtics won the championship. So I had a nice little off season. I could, had a lot of sports to watch. That was kind of nice. Finally, after freaking 2008. That's a long time, man. So we got that banner 18 raised up. I had to get that one in before, I did a little rant on Steve Kerr too. I know that's your coach, but sorry, brother. Just had to call it like it was. But no, we're back in it now, baby. It's the real sport is now. Fantasy football is right here. The camps have opened up already. We got our first week of preseason games under our belt, and we've seen a lot of injuries. We just released a podcast earlier today about injuries, so go check that one out if you guys want to get all caught up on the injuries in the NFL. But me and you, we're going to talk about quarterbacks today. We're going to go over our top 10 quarterbacks. We're going to check out the ADP, and we're going to kind of talk about where we think they should be drafted or what round we should draft these guys or whatever. So without further ado, let's get into it, man. This year is kind of different. It's a little different as far as quarterbacks are concerned, because there's been so much movement in the offseason, like with Josh Allen and the Bills. Stephon Diggs is gone. And I saw a stat the other day, man, that was talking about Dalton Kincaid. They were saying, Kincaid, everyone's probably high and hyped on Kincaid, but I saw a stat that once their new offensive coordinator came in the last 4 games of the season, he didn't use a tight end much, and Kincaid was not used hardly as much as he was before that. So that's something that, for us to keep our eye out on. And with Josh Allen, I don't know who he has, as far as a receiver. So let's bang out these lists, our top 10. Let's go ahead and start with you, man. Who do you have at number 10 on your list?
Number 10, I have Dak Prescott. So I got Dak, just the same guys last year. He just has a little different on the running back situation. He has Zeke back, he has Dowdy, but he has Ferguson, he has Lamb. They keep saying Lamb's going to play, that he's going to be there, even if they don't get a contract and they have Cooks. So Dak, it's hard. Dak had a good year last year, man. He had like a fantasy. Like when we do this list, like I was looking at this list, and when I was making this list, we're doing this list for fantasy scoring. We're not doing for the best quarterbacks of the league. We're doing for fantasy scoring. Mm-hmm. So that's one thing that people have to understand also. It's like I was looking at that, and there's some guys that I have below 10 that I'm like, oh, they're way better players than this guy. Like I got guys underneath Dak that should be above Dak, that's above Dak and real and of just, a quarterback rating. But for fantasy scoring, I got Dak number 10.
Yeah. I agree with you. That's who my number 10 is, Dak Prescott. He led the league last year in completions and touchdowns. Mm-hmm. He had a 20.2 fantasy points per game. So he had like you said, he had a great year.
And he could be playing for a contract this year. If Jerry don't keep him, he's playing for 31 teams right now.
Exactly. And you're right about CeeDee. I think CeeDee will be there. They're going to end up having to pay him, but he's missing a lot of time right now away from the team. And that could impact, the early part of the season for Dak. Mm-hmm. Not unless he just goes to Ferguson more and Cooks more, stuff like that. I don't think Elliott is that big a deal,
No, but I think more Dowdy, he has a little more running. I think that will open up. But the thing is, if Zeke does run it and he doesn't do anything, they're gonna have to pass a lot more. He's gonna be passing
That's
way
true.
too much.
Yeah, so I agree with you on Dak. That's basically where he should be. 10, I think, is a good number. Some of these lists, man, I've been looking at some of these lists. They got him way up like top 5. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. At number 9, I got Joe Burrow at number 9. Joe had 12 touchdown passes in only 5 games last year. But shoot, bro, it seems like every year someone of their big guys, one of their big guys is like hurt or having some problem getting into camp or something like that. And now it's Jamar Chase. Now Chase is healthy by all accounts, but he's kind of holding out. He's doing a holding in, they called it, because he's been at all the practices until yesterday. But he hasn't participated in any practice. He just has been there with the team. But he wants to get paid, and that could affect Burrow big time if he's not there in opening day. But I got Burrow at number 9. Who do you got?
Number 9, I got Joe Burrow.
Bro, people are gonna swear that me and you are just like together colluding, but no, this is the first I've heard of your list. First you heard of my list. All right, go ahead.
So number 9, I got Joe Burrow. You hit everything on the head on the nail. Chase, it's all based on Chase. Higgins, if the real Joe Burrow stands up, he got the Eminem haircut, and there's no talent lost there with him at all. But this is like right now, Joe Burrow. Last year coming in, he was a top 5 quarterback. Talent, ratings, quarterback, fantasy. This year he's at number 9 with us, right? I looked at I've seen a bunch of different ratings. He's at like between 7 and 10, but I'm thinking 9 just for the Chase situation. They only have Higgins this year. They don't have Boyd this year. They have, I guess they lost Mixon, so I got Burrow at 9.
No, I agree, 100%, man. I think that's in the funny thing is with this list of ours, any of these guys could flip and flop throughout the 10 from 1. It can happen, just depend on how the season goes. But this is how I see it coming into the season.
It just feels to me this year, it feels like the Bengals aren't the hype this year like they were last year. And that could be because Burrow got hurt, but it just doesn't seem like you got Baltimore and you got Pitt. Pittsburgh has a lot of hype. So
yeah,
it seems like Bengals are kind of, 8-9 game winning season. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see we'll see how healthy he stays.
Yep. Who do you got for number 8?
Number 8. You're going to be Anthony Richardson.
Anthony Richardson.
I know a lot of guys have high on him, and I do, but it's more on it's more of the injury thing, he's a high fantasy scorer, and I think I could have went a little higher with him, but just the injury, man. If he keeps running like he did last year, he's gonna get hurt. It's gonna be the Robert Griffin effect, and I hope not. Robert Griffin was there. He was the man. And he, and he just couldn't stay upright. So Anthony Richardson could easily be 5 to 8, easily. But just with the injury wise, they have Pittman, Pierce. He looked a lot better at the end of the year. Their other Josh Downs, I think he's injured right now, though.
Yeah, he is injured.
He's injured. So, like, if they had their full receiving roster and all that, then I would maybe. But the kid could be top 5, like you're saying. Like right now, this is just our ratings right now, but he could be the top quarterback this year. Like that's how good he is. I have him at 8 right now.
Yeah, no, yeah, you're right, man. On the injury, to me, that would be his only thing that can hold him back. The kid's talented, but yeah, you have him at 8. My number 8 is Jordan Love, and a lot of Packer fans, Mike. He might not like that, right?
Yes, sir.
He might not like that we have Jordan Love down at 8, but Jordan Love could easily be a top 5 fantasy quarterback this year. It just all depends on if his receivers stay healthy. And I think the key for him, seriously, is if Christian Watson could stay on the field this year. If he could stay healthy, it changes everything for Jordan Love, who already did a fantastic job last year with like Modge Podge receivers, rookies, and these guys stepped up. I'm not saying they were bad, but he never knew who he was going to throw to week to week. Last week, from week 11 on, Jordan Love was a QB2 and finishing scoring in the league with the second in scoring in the league with 32 touchdowns, bro. 32 touchdowns. And he seemed to start the season off really well, if you recall, for the first couple games. And then like I saw one of our podcasts or episodes from last year. I was reviewing some of our tapes and we were on Jordan Love. We're like, what happened to Jordan Love? Did the reality hit, and then he came back. So yeah, I got him at number 8. At number 7, I got, the Arizona Cardinal fans will like this, maybe not, but I got Kyler coming in at number 7. This dude's, no matter if we like him or don't like him or, his personality, this guy's dynamic. When he's healthy, he just got Marvin Harrison Jr., which I'm not christening Marvin Harrison Jr. as the next Larry Fitzgerald, like some people around here that I'm hearing are doing, but
yeah,
I'm sure you hear a lot of it being in Arizona. So, but I do think that he is from his lineage is wide receiver elite. His dad was an elite wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to add to it, and he is a good receiver. We'll just see what he does on the NFL side. But then they have Wilson, which I think is a good Wilson, right? Michael Wilson, Michael Thomas, Michael Wilson, yeah,
and Trey McBride,
yeah, and Trey McBride. So with all that, plus his running ability and his playmaking ability, I got Kyler at number 7. He's only finished out of the top 10 fantasy quarterback once in his career, and that was 12.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if he stays healthy this year, I got him at number 7. Who do you got at 7?
Lamar Jackson. I got Lamar Jackson 7. High score. Last year we took Lamar probably 3-4 times, and I think we regretted it every time we took him. Okay. This is more, I think, fantasy. This is more of a Sunday daily fantasy that I'm thinking about, I think, in my head. Because like what I said earlier about like points and fantasy, Lamar has Derrick Henry right now. And like most of the quarterbacks that I've been talking about, like I said, oh, well, they have this running back. They have this running back. This running back, Derrick Henry, is a guy you want to run 25 times. He's a horse. But the thing with Lamar, it just seems like like last year, it just seemed like he had more games under 20 points than he had on the positive side to me. And I think there's a lot more young bucks coming up right now that didn't really show last year or they show that they're coming, like Jordan Love, Kyler Murray, like you're saying. So my number 7's Lamar Jackson.
No, that's fair, man. No,
and I'm sorry. And they only have Zay Flowers. They lost Odell. They have Bateman, and they've been hoping Bateman would do something since they drafted him, and he hasn't really done nothing. They got rid of Devaney, or they just can't get another receiver for him. So Mark Andrews was hurt, I think, more than half the season last year. So the only guy they have is Zay Flowers, and Zay Flowers is more of a slot receiver. He's not a deep threat. He's more of a 5-10 yards, and then he runs for 60. So
yeah.
So that's the reason. I'm not taking no credit away from Lamar, but he's my number 7.
No, I agree. Lamar, it's not. I don't think it's his skill set that's diminishing. I just think the way that they're using him and when he decides to turn it on and off has changed since he's gotten a little older, and it does affect his fantasy. And like you said when we started this podcast, this is about fantasy points. Which one of these quarterbacks do we think is going to score the most fantasy points and be most fantasy relevant? And so that's where we're at with that. Who do you have as your number 6?
Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray.
Just like you said, Trey McBride's the big. He had 800 yards. He was the leading receiver of the Cardinals last year. Marvin Harrison, I could see him get 1,000 yards, but I'm not going to put high hopes on a rookie that much, especially with Kyler. What Kyler are we going to get this year? But the guy, he's talented. He's just right there with Lamar, but I think he's a little more Lamar. I think he has a better receiving core than Lamar. So that's why I picked Kyler over Lamar this year. He does have a way better offense than Lamar, I think. Running backs wise, no, but on the receiving side, yeah, he has a better. Like Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison Jr. plays the way that they're saying. Yeah, Kyler's my number 6.
Yeah.
Just stay healthy and we'll see what happens.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree with all that. I just told you why I thought, he should be at 7. But it's pretty much the same thing. We're saying the same thing. My number 6 is Lamar. So we flopped those.
Yeah,
and for all the reason we just talked about, Lamar finished at QB3 in fantasy scoring last season, and I just think it didn't seem like it. It didn't seem like he finished that high, but he still did. But I think with the addition of Derrick Henry, it's going to change the way they run their offense. Having someone like Derrick Henry there, even though I know Henry's getting up there in age and stuff, he's still a great running back, and you still have to game plan for him. So because of all that, I have Lamar at number 6. At number 5, now here we get to the top 5. This is the nitty gritty, baby. These are the money makers right here. These are the guys that we're going to have in our lineups a lot this year. But I got CJ. I got the kid. The next Patrick Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
I got him at number 5, and the only reason he's so low, which sounds crazy, he's so low, he's in number 5, is because he doesn't really run. He does everything with his arm.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to have to count on Diggs now. He's got Diggs, but I'm kind of interested how this is all going to work, because you got alpha, basically.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have a wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3. You have 3 bona fide number 1s. You got Nico, who is his boy. You got Tank, who's his boy. And then you got Diggs. And you could flip-flop them any kind of way, because we saw last year when Nico was out, Tank went off.
Mm-hmm.
And every other week and when they're both in, we're trying to figure out which one is going to go off this week. So we look at last week's stats and we try to figure out who's going to go off. All that being said, and then he's got, the tight end. He's got Joe Mixon behind him now. They got a little more stout on the defense with getting Danielle Hunter over there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just think that they're going to be a handful to deal with. I think DeMeco Ryans has them in the right direction. CJ could easily move up this, from 5 up to 3 or 2, possibly. But because he does not run, I think that I have him right there. Last year as a rookie, finished QBR 9, in points per game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just passing. So that's who I have at number 5. Who do you got?
Jordan Love. In one name, Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs is going to make that offense way better. If Jordan Love comes out to the Jordan Love he was in the playoffs, but the last 3-4 games, and then the games that we were praising him, and then he kind of dropped, like we said. But Jordan Love, Josh Jacobs is a playmaker. He gets a lot of receptions, and they're saying right now, like last year, it was Reed that was leading the team the last a half of the season, but they say right now Dobbs is looking good, and like you said, Christian Watson. If Christian Watson plays the way he did 2 years ago, that team's going to be rough, and it's hard for me to say it because with my past with Green Bay and all that. It's gonna be. They could be really, really powerful, man. And Josh Jacobs could be the reason. Honestly, like that guy, he's a horse, and with the Raiders getting rid of him, that's crazy. But I think Jordan Love gained a main piece for his offense and for him, and that's why he's number 5 for me.
Yeah, that's fair, man. Like I said, I had him at number 8, but I said he could easily be a top 5 quarterback depending on how it goes this year. But yeah, I have no qualms with that. Jordan Love, he's a baller.
Yep.
He's definitely a baller, and his best days are still ahead of him.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Who do you got at number four?
Number four, I got Brock, CJ Stroud. I had to throw that in there. He could have been top 10, but
Yeah.
But with
Yeah.
Ayuk, nobody knows what with Ayuk, to be honest. But CJ Stroud, just like you said, there's nothing else I could pretty much add. Dalton Schultz is a big part of that offense. Joe Mixon. Hopefully Damian Pierce comes and plays the way he did 2 years ago. I hope having Mixon on the team, he kind of gets back to where he was at, because he ran the heck out of the ball when he first came in as a rookie. And then last year he just didn't show.
Yeah.
But, I don't really have no more to say about that with Stroud. I mean, you pretty much said everything. The only thing is, if Diggs keeps his mouth shut and plays, they're all good.
Good luck with that, brother.
Just saying. Just saying.
I remember when Diggs was a rookie, and I was like, man, this guy's good, because he played for the Vikings. And
what happened there?
And yeah, he was humble when he came into the league. I don't know what the hell happened to him, but yeah, Diggs he's still elite. We'll see, because the way CJ throws the ball, man, that actually Diggs and Josh Allen just didn't connect a lot. They left a lot out there on the field. So we'll see if CJ and Diggs has a little better chemistry. So you have CJ at number 4. I got Patrick Mahomes at number 4. And the reason I have him at number 4, because he could easily be 1, 2, 3, top 3. He doesn't run either, as much. And he really doesn't have weapons like that, like when he had Tyreek. And now Hollywood Brown's hurt. His shoulder's messed up 4 to 6 weeks. So Rashee Rice, is he suspended? Is he not? We don't know yet if they're going to suspend him. If they do, then they just got the rookie Xavier.
Worthy.
Yeah, Xavier Worthy. And that's a lot to put on a rookie. I remember 2 years ago, Sky Moore was a rookie, and we all know how that turned out. I did videos on this guy. I was high on Sky, baby, and turned out to be wrong. But and they're saying it was Sky Moore and Justin Watson are still there. Yeah, and Kadarius Toney.
I'm surprised Tony's still there with all that problems at the end of the year. That's crazy to me, but
yeah,
he's still there.
Yeah, crazy. So we'll see, man. It's really, I thought getting Hollywood would help Mahomes. That's right up his alley, Hollywood Brown. Hollywood did well last year too when he stayed healthy, but that's always his problem, bro. He's always hurt. Hollywood Brown cannot stay on the field. And because of that, that's gonna impact this whole offense. That's why I have Mahomes at number 4. Who do you got at number 4? Or did you already do your number 4?
We're dinner for number 3.
Okay. So number 3, I have Anthony Richardson.
Yeah,
bro, I'm a believer in Anthony Richardson. Look, last year I drafted Richardson and I stole him in like the 10th round. No one was on Richardson, and you know me, I'll do my rookie research. And I stole him. And I remember me and you, matter of fact, I saw a video. I told you I was going through our archives, and we were talking about Richardson. And last year I had Justin Fields and Richardson, and you told me, oh, you'll be starting Richardson by week 3. And I started him week 4, and I made a joke about it. Yeah, you were wrong. I started him week 4,
And then he got hurt that week, I think.
Yeah, and then he gets hurt. So I'm with you. If he can, just stay healthy and watch how he runs, because he runs like a man. He's just running, trying to run people over. This is the NFL. You can't do that as a quarterback. You got to be smarter than that. So hopefully he learned. Yep. But man, hands down, this dude is the most dynamic. He can throw, he can run, he uses legs. Remember, he was like scoring 30 points right out of the gate, fantasy points. And just like, I remember one weekend, man, I looked up and I'm like, Richardson already got 21 points just on the first quarter. It was something crazy like that. And so I'm a believer, man. If he stays healthy, I got him in my top 3, so that's where I have him. Who do you got at 3? Or
Patrick
did you want
Mahomes.
to touch on? Did you want
No,
to touch on?
well, with Anthony Richardson, I mean, I agree with you. Like I said, it's just the whole. If he plays the way he did last year, I just hope he doesn't get hurt. Like I said, the Robert Griffin effect, because Robert Griffin was raw. That
Yeah,
first year took him. I mean, he was raw, and then
he was bad.
he ran himself down to ESPN. I mean, honestly,
Right.
so
I thought Griffin was going to be like one of the
dude,
greatest
he was
ever. He was
raw,
a
bro.
fantasy football dream, bro.
He was raw.
That boy was bad.
Then he
boy.
came back and tore his knee again in that playoff game. His yeah.
Hey, isn't that crazy? Not to get off topic too much, but they drafted Richardson and Cousins in that same draft. Washington did.
Oh, Griffin.
Did you realize that?
Cousins. Yeah, Griffin and Cousins. Yeah.
Yeah, Griffin. Oh, I said Richardson. Yeah.
Mhm.
Griffin and Cousins in that same
Mhm.
draft. That's crazy. And both of those guys, Cousins turned out to have the longer career.
Mhm.
But yeah, if Griffin doesn't get hurt, yeah.
Yep. So number three, I got Patrick Mahomes. The same thing. He doesn't, he doesn't run as much. He does, but he doesn't get too crazy. He does have, but he's getting you points every week, though. He's getting you something every week. He's going to get you something. The thing is, I don't know if the NFL is waiting until the training camp's done and going to suspend Rice. It's crazy to me that he hasn't got suspended already.
Right. We need to know as fantasy managers. We need to know.
We need to know. No, honestly, maybe they're waiting for his court date because I know how they do that sometimes.
Yeah.
But that's one of the main reasons I got him number 3. I mean, last year he didn't score major fantasy points, but he's going to be consistent every week.
Yeah, I agree, man. You can't go wrong with Patrick Mahomes in the top 3, top 5, top 2. I mean, he's still the biggest dog of them all. And if this list was who's the best quarterback in the NFL, Patrick Mahomes would be number 1 on my list. Because I still think he's the best, and the bar is all set by him. Mm-hmm. And then there's a couple other guys right underneath him, but he's the alpha in the NFL still to this.
Sure.
Bro, for what they did last year, me and you didn't think for a minute that Kansas City was going to repeat. But with him and Andy Reid, and this time I think it's more than it was with Belichick and Brady.
Yeah.
After we see everything after all said and done, Reid's had success everywhere he's gone.
Yep.
Yep. And he's great with Mahomes. All right. Who do you got for number 2?
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts.
I really. So a couple of days ago, I had Hurts around 8 or 9. I'm going to be honest with you. And then I had him up about 5. Him and Sirianni are not clicking. Something's up there. It happened last year. Right now, they're saying in training camp there's something going on. When he talks on his press conferences, you tell there's something there. You can tell when Sirianni talks about, when they bring up Hurts and when they bring up Sirianni to Hurts, you can just tell that something's not clicking. And then I just thought about, like a fantasy wise, Hurts is a top. I mean, he could have been number 1. I could have put him at 1. He was scoring 25, 30 points every game. It seemed like he was like over 20 every game. He was scoring a touchdown. I remember like you were doing things like he was going to score a touchdown. He's going to score a touchdown every week. Like, damn, Lonnie, every week you're picking to pick a touchdown. And I was like, damn, every week you're picking up to score a touchdown. I was like, damn, man. And I think he did. He scored. I think he honestly, it seemed like he ran. I don't have the stats of how many touchdowns he scored on the ground, but I bet it's over 10. I bet it's over 10. Because it seemed like he was scoring every week on the ground. I mean, there was times he scored twice in one game on the ground by the push, by the tush push. So that's one. But yeah, I got him. I mean, you got AJ Brown and you have Smith and you still have Dallas Goedert, and now you have Saquon, man.
Yeah,
that's big. So yeah, he's my number 2.
Gotcha. Yeah, he's definitely. And I'll talk a little bit more about him here in a second. I got Josh Allen at number 2. And, Josh Allen is absolutely still a stud. He's still the guy with or without Diggs. Mm-hmm. He makes plays with his feet, with his arm. He makes a lot of mistakes, though. He does. But you can't deny him until he shows me that I can't trust him anymore to score me some fantasy points. He's in my top 3. He'll always be in my top 3 until that happens. He lands at number 2 for me. I just think that he's a beast, and I know people are going to say, well, Diggs is gone. And yeah, I get that, but they do have Dalton Kincaid, and we'll see, because that stat that I read about Kincaid's usage under the new OC. But see, what people have to remember is that when they make coaching changes like that in the middle of the season, or in this particular case, it was kind of late in the season, they have to just, you still have to work things out. You're on the fly kind of, but they had a whole off season. They have all this, training camp and everything to get together and to come up with a plan that's going to, they didn't draft Kincaid where they did to have him be a blocking tight end.
No, sir.
I really believe he's going to be a lot more involved. I'm not scared to draft him in fantasy, and we'll talk about tight ends, soon too. But I just think that Josh Allen still has, Kincaid there. They'll probably use Cooks out of the backfield a little more with some swing passes, that type of thing, some screens. And, but, receiver wise, they really are. They lost Gabe Davis. They lost Diggs, and Sheffield is playing for the Vikings. So they lost Sheffield too, which was like their number 4 guy. So we'll just have to see with him, but I still got him at my number 2. Obviously, my number 1 is Jalen Hurts.
Oh, I thought it was going to be Sam Darnold, homie. Come on. Come on.
JJ McCarthy.
JJ McCarthy. I agree with you. I mean, like I said, it could have been 1 or 2 with these two guys.
Yeah, that tush push is what, until they change, they did. Before I finished this list, I went and looked for the rule change and see if they changed the rule, and they did not.
They did not.
So it's still legal to do the tush push, and as long as Sirianni, yeah, I know they do. It seems like there's something going on there between those two, but with the addition of Saquon, man, now they have Saquon, they have AJ Brown, they have Smith, they have Goddard, and they have Hurts. On the offensive side of the ball, these guys should be rolling. And if they keep their philosophy with the tush push, that's going to keep Jalen Hurts in the end zone. But he's just dynamic anyway. And from a fantasy perspective, I think he's, that's why he lands at my number 1. Who do you have at number 1?
So my number 1 is Josh Allen.
What? Brock Purdy? What?
Brock Purdy? Yeah. Geno Smith. No,
right.
It's Josh Allen. And like we were saying, I mean, it could have been Hurts. I have nothing against Hurts, but Josh Allen last year, I mean, there was times, Lonnie, that all of a sudden you're like, he scored 50 points. Like, he scored 50 what? Or he scored 40 points. Scored 40
right.
what? Like, I think he was the highest scoring in separate games. Like 3 passing touchdowns, two running touchdowns, 80 yards, 500 yards passing. Like, gosh, dang, man. Like, there was a lot of that, But you're right, though. He had 18 interceptions last year. And he does make a lot of mistakes. But he had 15 rushing TDs, man.
Yeah.
15 plus 29 passing. So Josh Allen's my number 1 still. He has Kenyon Coleman now. He has Chase Claypool, and I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's who he has. He has Curtis Samuel. So Curtis Samuel did good last year. He was playing better than Dotson, and he was playing better than McLaren at sometimes. Samuel had some games. He wasn't the best Redskin receiver at all, or best commander receiver, but Curtis Samuel is like a Gabe Davis, I guess you could say. So he kind of flip-flop with Gabe Davis. But that Kenyon Coleman, they have a lot of hope on him, and Kincaid, like to me, I think Kincaid's going to be the Trey McBride to Kyler last year. I think Kincaid's going to be that to Josh Allen, because Kincaid had some promise last year, and I think it's going to go into the season. I think it has to go into the season.
Yeah,
So
I agree with you, man.
Yeah, I think Josh is just too good to put him at number 2, but I easily could have flip-flopped Hurts for – I mean, it could have been a coin toss, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And it's funny because both, Hurts and Allen threw 29 touchdown passes, but he also rushed for 15.
Mhm.
Hurts threw 23 touchdown passes and rushed for 15. But most of those, a lot of those, I'm not going to say most, but probably the majority of them were tush-push touchdowns where Allen just, makes stuff happen from the 5 to 10, whatever. He just mans it up.
Man running. So,
Exactly.
do you want to put we got about 3 quarterbacks that should have been in the top 10?
Yeah, some honorable mentions.
Yeah, so we got honorable mention. So I could start off with my 3.
Yep.
I have 3 honorable mentions.
All right.
I have Brock Purdy. Easily could have been top 10 with the talent around him. If we knew for sure if Ayuk was going to be game 1, I mean, the reason that Brock did well in fantasy is because the people around him. I'm not going to, he's good quarterback. I mean, he does what he has to do to win the games. But the guys around him make him, a higher fantasy. Justin Herbert, he lost all his receivers.
Yeah.
He has the kid from Georgia, McClinchy, and he's hurt. If Herbert wasn't hurt, he probably would have been my top. He probably would have been 10 over Dak.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the guy's always scoring on fantasy. Like, I've had him for past couple of years. He's always scoring. Doesn't matter who's around him. I mean, Keenan's been hurt for all those years. Mike Williams is always hurt, and he always found a way to do something.
Yeah.
And my other one is and I kind of feel bad for not putting him in the top 10 of what he did last year. Goff.
Yeah.
Jared Goff.
Yeah.
He like shocked everybody last year, and then with Jameson Williams, I can't say it, but they have high hopes on him this year. Edit. No, but no, they have high hopes for Williams this year. They really do. Aaron St. Brown, man, that dude is a freaking grown man. That boy catching 120 passes a year. So that's my 3. I'm just going to give 3. I mean, we could go all the way to 20, but I think, that's my 3. And I'm going to stick with it.
No, yeah, I agree with a couple of those guys. And these guys would be coming in probably at number 10. You know what I'm saying? Like getting into the top 10 at number 10 for me. And Brock Purdy's one. That system, Shanahan has proven that system, you don't have to be a great quarterback to thrive, but if you're a really good quarterback, you're going to do really, really well. And I think Brock Purdy is a really good quarterback. He probably just needs to win a Super Bowl and really contend for the touchdowns and yards, to start talking about great. But he's a really good quarterback. And so, he could easily have made this top 10 list. Also on that is Jared Goff. 100% agree with everything you said about Goff. I mean, he's got Laporta, he's got St. Brown, and then Jameson Williams is listed now this year for the first time, number 2 on the depth chart. Mm-hmm. So he's going to be in there all the time. So I'm sure they're scheming up for him.
And then my passes too.
What's that?
Gibbs is catching a lot of passes too.
Yep.
But, he just went down with the hamstring though. So we'll talk about that when we get to running backs, but we're not going to give everything in one day. We got still 3 more weeks of football, baby. So there's still coming. Honestly, the bad thing is, knock on wood, there's a lot of injuries coming. So that's why we're not giving everything in one night.
Exactly. And then my last guy that I think could get in this list, JJ might. No, I'm just kidding. Hey man, the way JJ looked though Saturday against the
top
Raiders, man, sure. He looked good, man.
But for sure, top 20.
But he's out for the year, so much for that. No, but I think I haven't seen a whole lot of them yet. Just one series, but I think Caleb, with all his weapons, the Bears fans are gonna love me for even saying. Well, they're gonna probably hate me because I didn't have him as number 3 or number 2 on this list. Yeah. But I think he could easily be a top 10 quarterback this year if everything plays out like it should. I think he came from a pro style offense, and he so far everything I'm hearing out of Bears camp is that this kid is a stud. And I guess they're on Hard Knocks, and Hard Knocks could They
Yeah.
do whatever they do with their edits, but
Yeah.
everyone's loving them. So Caleb
I
Williams,
I agree. I agree on that. Like he was my 14th, and he could have easily been my 11th.
Mhm.
The thing is with Purdy, he has a established offense.
Yep.
Jared Goff has an established offense. The Bears, we don't know yet. Brand new
And
quarterback. They have Kenny, they have Allen, but they haven't done anything yet with that whole core. The Lions have, the Niners have, but I could easily see Caleb Williams come out in the first game scoring more than 20 fantasy points. I could easily see it, man.
for sure.
Honest to God truth, I could see everybody. I mean, his percentage of being used on that first game is going to be high.
Yeah.
He could easily score 20 points. He has the
Yeah.
team to do it. It's just the only thing I have a real worry is the running game. Swift, like I said, he had a couple good games with the Eagles last year, and he kind of dropped at the end. He didn't look like the guy that they wanted, but we'll see. I think Roshan Johnson is going to be the guy on that offense. So, we'll
Yeah,
see.
I like Roshan. They went and got Swift for a reason, though. I think Eberflus, until he proves me wrong, I still think he's not the sharpest tool in the shed running a football team. But we'll see. Chris seems to think otherwise. He is hyped, and he'll be on here soon. I'm sure
bet
before
he
the
is.
season starts, where we can all get together and chop it up.
I would too. Like I watched his whole, like you said, the Hard Knocks thing. I mean, the kid, he did a straight 360 from college to now, like his attitude and everything. Like when he was a college thing, I mean, you were talking when he was crying on the sideline to his mom and the things he was saying, everybody's like, man, I don't know about this guy, but the guy could play, man, and I kind of like him. I mean, I like him, like, but show me. I mean, you guys heard me say it last year. Show me. Like, I think he is going to be. I mean, he could easily be a top 10 quarterback this year, easily. But I think the first game he's going to score more than 20.
And you know what? I wouldn't doubt it.
Honestly, he's scoring more than 20 first game.
Yeah, who do the Bears play week 1 here? Let me
where's Chris at?
Let me see who they play week 1. Because I think you're right. I think they can get out of the chute pretty quick. They start off at home against Tennessee, the Titans. So,
they have a good Tennessee's always a little good defense, but I can see Caleb scoring more than 20. Like I'll put my money on it.
Yeah, definitely. But week 2 is a whole nother story. They got to go to Houston. So when we get into the to the teams, we'll talk about that. Okay, so now let's get into the ADP, and let's see what the consensus is and how far we're off with our list compared to the ADP. You got the ADP. What do you got there?
So the ADP, it has Josh Allen number 1, Jalen Hurts number 2, Patrick Mahomes number 3, Lamar Jackson number 4, CJ Stroud at 5, Anthony Richardson at 6, Joe Burrow 7, Murray 8, Pat Prescott 9, Jordan Love 10, Brock Purdy 11, Caleb Williams 12, Tua at 13, and Jared Goff at 14.
Jared Goff at 14.
And at 15, Jaden Daniels.
Wow. I have an ADP here. I have a list. I have a list in front of me from one of the writers that I follow, and this is what he's got. He's got Josh Allen 1, Jalen Hurts 2, Mahomes 3, Lamar 4, Richardson at number 5, CJ at number 6. He's got Murray at number 7, Dak at number 8, Joe Burrow at number 9, and he's got Jaden Daniels at number 10. Which I'm like, how are you going to put a rookie in the top 10? He's got Brock at number 11, Jordan Love at 12, Caleb at 13, Jared Goff 14, and then Tua rounded off. Deshaun. He's got Deshaun rounded off at 15. So see, it's just there's a bunch of good quarterbacks out there. I just really don't agree with Jaden Daniels at number 10, though.
Daniels to me is okay. Look, Jaden Daniels to me is the first year of Justin Fields with Chicago Bears. I'm not saying that he is like a Justin Fields, but the offense around him, McLaren didn't do nothing last year. Dotson hurt. played a little bit, had a lot of promise. I picked him on every freaking fantasy team I had, and he was gone week 3. Gone. See you. Bye. Samuel was. If you look at Samuel had a consistent season last year. He had some injuries, but McLaren wasn't McLaren at all. They have Eckler, but Eckler's over 30 now, and Eckler didn't look good last year either. I'm not saying that they're going to be, Jordan Daniels, he has talent and all that, but to me, the team around him, I'm not excited about it. We'll see what happens. I mean, the kid has talent, but just like Justin Fields, everybody said he had talent, and he did, and he does, but he didn't have the team around him. And you see what happened. Where's he at now? He's a second string with Pittsburgh, and
fumbling in the preseason.
Yeah, and Tomlin, Tomlin had high hopes, but now Tomlin doesn't seem like he has high hopes.
Because Tomlin doesn't play. He's not going to mess around. And Jaden Daniels, we'll see. I obviously I didn't have him in my top 10 or my top 13. I didn't even have my top 13.
He's not even in my top 20.
Yeah, until I see him really do something. He may have all the talent in the world and be able to run and pass, because I've seen him in college. I mean, the kid is electric, but even in college, I thought, man, this kid's too thin. It's just he's one hit away from his whole career being over. So I mean, he's just a thin guy. I know he's talented.
I have one ADP that I found right now when I found this one. Jaden Daniels is not even top 20. He's not even top 20. So I hate how they do that to kids. We'll see. I mean, he's going to have his game. He's going to have a game here and there, but we'll see. Dan Quinn's a defensive coordinator. He's not an offensive mind guy. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I know they have Kingsbury there, but we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. We definitely will see. It's going to be interesting how it all plays out. And when we rewind this tape, we'll see how right or wrong we were. Just like everyone else, we're just trying to figure it out. But that's who we think are your top 10 fantasy quarterbacks for the 2024 season. Comment on this video, comment on this podcast. Let us know what you think and who you have at your top 10. This is Lonnie. He is Jake, and we'll catch you on the next one.